Hey guys, Boston Bruce. I'll do a quick little recap video because I'm sure a lot of you know we're playing a couple extra turns. And that is the final score 11 for the Axis, 5 for the common turn, 4 for the Allies. It was quite the beating. We didn't fare too well. Little stuff's been moved since my turn. But I haven't done the Japanese. Just the Russians and the Germans have moved. It was, I could tell you, in my opinion, let's see, if we're going to give an MVP award, it has to go to Panzer J over here playing Japan. I mean, there isn't even, you got these two little coastal subs. I totally forgot about them last turn because there was no destroyers here. I was going to take a shot at them. Uh, and that's just the way it was going over here. Oh, we do have one British sub left alive over there. Other than that, there was nothing for the Allies in the Pacific Ocean, basically. Nothing at all. I had to basically run to the other side of the map just to do anything. I mean, he even forced his way up into Alaska, and if it wasn't for strategic rockets, I mean that would have took even more of my forces away from that I would have to leave over here. As it was, I had to keep six fighters over here till the end. I mean, he was threatening Panama. He was threatening, he could take a spot and I'd take it right back. He didn't have the troops, but if he starts dropping factories and ports here, I thought if he really wanted, he might have been able to build like 3 or 4 ports, and I wouldn't have had enough rockets to hit him. And I actually finally got the large ship construction on the very last turn. With the new rules with the tech, I mean, I don't know if it was bad luck. I know my percentage was probably less than 50%, but what I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 techs completed. The Russians had 2, 4, 6. The British 4. Japan had 3, I believe. The Germans had 7. So it was rough. Like I said, it was a little rough for us, I thought, for the Allies. Actually, very rough. Japan really kicked our butts down here. Like I said, it easily took Calcutta, Sydney, and he had his way over here with China. I finally got out at the end there, but if the game went longer, he might counter. I actually know he's going to counterattack. It's Chris. What else would Chris do? And the Russians finally they did make a push on the extra turn that we planned. Uh, so they basically took most of northern China up there, but they're in position, the Japanese, to take it back. So over here they were defending their islands. I mean, we were coming with a navy, but we didn't have. I didn't have the ground units over here. Neither did the British had some, but they didn't have no navy at all here. We had them stuck in Malta here, but the Malta point means you have to take Malaya also, and he had factories there. It was just all in all, it was just awful. It was awful. I think Hambone said it was his least fun game playing as Germany. I don't know. It may have been my least fun game playing as the USA, and not like Campbell said in our messages. I mean, this isn't because of the guys. The guys are great to play with. I mean, they're as fun as they can. It can't get any better. I mean, we have the best group of guys to play with. And as far as the Germans and the Italians, they got the DAC troops. Like he said, he never really was able to get them out of. They're actually gone now, but he was never able really to do anything with them down in Western Egypt. They got there, and that was it. And they never were able to attack Lower Egypt. The Italians did good, but in this game, they're not going to last no matter what. They just can't do it. They don't have the resources. And eventually they get stuck. They get some. If we really want to go there, yeah, we can take it out. But like I said, to take that out, you got to take Malaya out, and we felt the easiest point swing was to try and take Paris. Because we'd get them back, and we'd take a victory city. So that's like a 3-point total there. So that would have been the bigger one. And and then Rome was also a target too. I mean, but they were down to their 1 point just for Rome, and they become more of a problem for Germany late game than anything, in my opinion. And the Civil War thing in Spain. Well, I don't know. I look at it as that if I don't know how you would do it, but it's I don't know. This is if Russia and Germany decide not to fight here. I mean, it gives both of them more money for the game. So I don't know. It's a sticky situation, in my opinion. I mean, yeah, I think if Hambone knew the game was ending, and if I'm correct, he just has to take Madrid. And yes, the Republicans would get to go next, but they don't have the force at this point in the game. And if the nationalists see the Republicans start sending stuff, of course they're going to send stuff, and they're actually have the upper hand at this point. And leaving that there, like you said, it keeps the Americans out of there because at this point in the game, or even a little earlier, there's no way you want to give the Germans extra troops there. And I mean, we'll get to, yeah, those would turn Russian, yeah, but, or could be controlled by the Russians. And it wouldn't, actually, as soon as they attack, they would align with the Russians. But I don't know. We'll talk about that situation too. As far as me, I tried to do what I could. I may have overspent on aircraft probably in the long run. I was the one that kind of wanted the extra turn. I mean, we really wanted to do Overlord. We were set up really well for it, and I'm going to get to do the extra turn. The British will be coming up, and we got a substantial force we can bring. I mean, he knows it. That's why he was sending troops this way on the extra turn he just did. He knew. And the Russians, he pushed him back nicely on the extra turn he did. And the Russians have come back and, they did this little pinprick stuff too, where they took some little empty territories. But, it's basically the way the game goes. The longer the game goes, the Allies and the Russians have the advantage. That's why the game is set up with the variable die roll, because, I mean, like I said, eventually it goes long enough. We get Germany in trouble here. I mean, the USA is making big money. They can start 10 heavy battleships, and I mean, stuff like that. That's the type of stuff. That's why the game is set up the way it is. But I like the fact that, after someone's been getting their ass kicked the whole game, you should get as Hambone put it, let them get their piece of meat or whatever. Let them get their licks in, And I agree too. If you're playing the Allies and sometimes the Russians, you can be on the receiving end pretty bad. Silk, let's get to the Russians. Silk played a good game as always. He's the most experienced in the bunch, and I'll tell you, late game. If it wasn't for that, I really was surprised because he got really clobbered in the extra turn we played, where he lost he only got one hit with 9 advanced mechs or some freaking thing. It was crazy. But, in Hambone in a real game, that's going later. He's not going to evacuate Helsinki and give that point away. So those are some things that have happened different. But, he was able to take Turkey. And I can really say he never actually lost one territory in Russia at this point in the game. And at this point in the game, I can tell you that we are playing some extra turns. And I don't know, it won't count as a Russian territory being gone, but we're going to try our best to try and take something from the Russians before the extra turns are over. just to have some fun. But yeah, it was a great, those guys played good, and now let's get to me and my buddy Pete over here. What did we do wrong? I don't know. I really don't even remember the Vichy attack now. I know it went horrible. Oh, another thing was I remember the Vichy rolls were horrendous. Everything went Vichy. All the ships went Vichy. It just didn't go real well for us. And actually, we didn't. I don't think we did a great job. And that's another thing I want to get to about Hambone with the subs. You get diced and this and that, but I like the strategy. He went on early game to try and cripple the British economy, and it did. It hurt it a lot. It affected the U.S. to have to help it, and it was a major deterrent, To us, it was. Anyway, I felt it that way. There's still that last sub was on the board, and, maybe it'll get killed on the extra turn, but it was there at the very end. It was still there. He was able to sneak it out of the med there, which I left an open spot, And like I said, we didn't deal real well with the subs, in my opinion. Most of the subs he lost were by tech from advanced sub warfare, not from any well placement. We put a nice sea base there and a seaplane, and my medium bomber was over here, and we finally put something with a Ranger 2 up here. So we had the line covered finally. But like you said too, the Italians, they get in here, and Cade's real aggressive, and he's a great player too. I mean, he had a lot of Africa at one time. He had I believe he had all the way to Cameroon. He was, I don't know if he got to Rhodesia, but he definitely had Belgium, Congo, Tanganyika, all of Africa, Nubia, all the way up there. Still has Syria. No, Transjordan is still Italian. Still has all these other little places he took. I don't know if this is. Did he take Rhodesia? No, that's. He can't, oh, yeah, Rhodes, because it's Italian, so that's his, yeah. I was thinking it was Turkish. And another guy's got a big, great defense up here, And, a few things I did wrong early on. I remember I shot a rocket at a factory with improved construction. I had no idea it had 5 armor. But the only possible damage I could do is 1 with a 6. Stupid shit like that you forget, or you don't know. Like I said, the Russians never lost the territory the whole game, which is pretty amazing. Which is, I couldn't understand why the Germans and the Russians really, they did not fight until late game. And I mean, it makes it tough for the Allies. No excuses, but, they played well. I mean, no doubt about that. We were definitely outplayed. But anyway, I look forward to playing with these guys a bunch more, over the years. So hopefully we do. And we do have, I don't know if we get another one coming up. Well, what we're doing next, but I'm sure we'll find out. So anyway, this is Boston Bruce. I'm going to get to do Overlord in a couple turns. No, 1 turn, because it's happening next turn. And, I'm the guy that rolled the 1. I could have rolled the 4. Then I could have rolled a 6. Then I could have rolled an 8. Then I could have rolled a 9. Then I could have rolled a 12. We could be playing for a long time, So if you're going to blame it on anyone, blame it on myself, right? All right, Boston Bruce, sign it out.